Welcome to the 7th video in the Metric Math Water Wastewater YouTube series. This video is going to focus on how to find the volume of rectangles, and then if you need to, how to convert the answer to the appropriate unit that you are trying to find. All right, when we are finding the volume of rectangles, remember the following basic fundamental stuff that we've looked at in some of the earlier videos. 1 megaliter to convert from megaliters to cubic meters. Notice you're going to the right, and so you move the decimal 3 spots to the right, or multiply by 1,000. If you're going to go from cubic meters to liters, you go another 3 decimal places to the right, or multiply by 1,000, and you get to 1 million liters. So that's a fundamental conversion that you need to know. Second thing you need to know, if we're dealing with rectangles, you need to know the formula for a rectangle, which is length times width times height. And notice, because we're dealing with meters, meters times meters times meters is going to get you cubic meters. And then from there we can do some pretty easy conversions, whether it's to megaliters or to liters. Make sure that if your measurements are not in meters, that you have to do a conversion to get to meters as quickly as possible. It's a lot easier to convert centimeters to meters than cubic centimeters to cubic meters. That gets really confusing. Every number needs to have a unit whenever you're doing your writing of your formulas, because that's going to prove at the end if you've got the correct final unit. And then check if your final answer is correct, not just by punching the numbers into the calculator, but do the units work out appropriately. So let's take a look at a sample problem. A reservoir measures 350 centimeters long, a reservoir measures 350 centimeters long by 8,000 millimeters high by 200 centimeters wide. Find the capacity in liters. So first step, what are the keywords? Now we know from the question that there are some dimensions that are listed, and they are 350 centimeters, and that's a length, 8,000 millimeters, that's a height, and 200 centimeters wide. A lot of people rush through this so fast, and they go straight to writing out the formula, but they need to underline. What are the key words? Slow yourself down so that you are being more methodical instead of rushing through these. So we've understood. Now we can take a look at the shape. The fact that it's length with height means that it's got to be a rectangle. And the formula for a rectangle is length with height. We already established that in one of the earlier slides. What's the final unit that the answer is going to be in? Well, it has to be in liters. Step 2. We are not given meters as our measurements, so we have to convert to meters as quickly as possible. So the first one that we need to look at is, well, how many centimeters to a meter? 100. How many millimeters to a meter? That's our foundation. You need to know those conversions. 350 centimeters is 3.5 meters. 200 centimeters, move the decimal 2 spots to the left, and that's 2 meters. And then 8,000 millimeters is 8 meters. So again, those conversions you just have to be able to do. Now, let's put the formula, put the numbers in, and do some quick math. So we know the formula is volume of a rectangle in cubic meters is length with height. And when you plug the numbers in, notice, write out the formula first, length with height. Now, what's the unit for length? Put it in. What's the unit for width? Put it in. What's the unit for height? Put it in. Don't rush through these things. It's a lot better to be methodical and right than rushing and wrong. Now, you can just do simple calculator work, and you've got 56 cubic meters. Now, at this point in time, if I was writing up a multiple choice question, I would put in 56L as one of the options. Because a lot of people, if they don't write out meters times meters times meters, and if they don't do that, then they'll get 56 and they're in a rush, and they'll quickly just pick the answer that has 56 in it, and on they go. Their stress levels will then be a little bit relieved. But we can tell here 56 cubic meters is not the right unit. We are supposed to find the answer in liters. Now remember, 1 megaliter, to convert from megaliters to cubic meters, you multiply by 1,000. To convert cubic meters to liters, you multiply by 1,000. So we have 56 cubic meters. And notice that is not the right unit, but we need to get it to liters, so convert that to 56,000 liters. Summary. What did we learn? Well, I hope you learned that you need to write down the key numbers, the key terms, and the key units right in the initial question. Spending 5 seconds doing that will save you a lot of time and a much higher probability of making an error if you just try rushing it through. Secondly, what's the unit of the answer? Now, in the previous, in the question that we just did, the answer was supposed to be in liters, but our calculation was in cubic meters. Now, the 56 was right, but it didn't have the right unit, so we had to add 3 zeros to it. Write out your formula. Volume of a rectangle, length, width, height. Write that out, and then put the numbers and the unit that goes along with it, and then solve it according to appropriate math processes. We'll look at bed mass and orders of operation in one of the other units. We'll look at bed mass and some of the other orders of operation in another video, but that's the steps, those are the rules you need to go by when you're solving to isolate your answer. And then last but not least, check if the final answer is in the correct unit and fix it if you need to. Thanks for watching this math video. Please check out the other videos in this channel. Put in some comments, please. And if you found this to be helpful, pass it on to some other water and wastewater students. Goodbye for now, and have a good day.